All right, Jesse on Fire, back again to talk about UFC 278. And I want to talk to you guys about the Luke Rockhold thing because I'm going to tell you what you missed if you weren't there live about the Rockhold fight. And because I've seen a lot of takes from people, obviously like I was at 278, I watched the fights live. I watched a lot of the commentary and stuff afterwards. I've seen a lot of like the fighters interviews and stuff. So I've seen a lot of stuff since the actual fights. And in the case of the Luke Rockhold fight, like I need to tell this story from the position of someone who was physically there because it's important, man. Like it's important to see it through the eyes of someone who was physically there and then shape your opinion or don't, or just say I'm fucking wrong if you want. But like that was one of the most poetic moments I've ever seen in the history. It's like if you tried to capture everything I love about the sport from last night. I'm sure most people of you were like, oh man, exactly when Leon, nailed the head kick. No, not for me. For me, it was the Rockhold thing, like the whole entire Rockhold fight and the aftermath and all of it. Because, when a guy wins a championship, like when Leon Edwards wins the championship, right? Like, obviously, that is the culmination of a lifetime of work, right? It's a culmination of a lifetime of work, and he becomes the world champion. It's the moment that he's waited for his entire life, right? But I've seen that movie before, I've seen that movie before. It doesn't make it any less awesome every time that you see it, But in the case of Luke Rockhold, I've never seen the culmination of an entire career end like that so poetically. And I'm telling you, if you weren't physically there, you might not understand why. That's kind of like the whole point of this video is I really want to try to communicate what happened in that auditorium because like I was saying this in my other video. I don't know if you've watched I just did a video about the Kamaru Usman Leon Edwards one, also an excellent video. I know when I'm putting down a good video, and I did a great video a second ago that'll probably go up either right before this or after this. But I was saying that like I think for me, whatever I'm doing here, like as a YouTube content creator or whatever, a podcast, whatever I'm doing, right? I actually think that having never fought in the Octagon is a huge benefit to doing this. And the reason for that, is you look at all these other guys, right? You look at Bisping, look at Chael, look at any of these guys. These guys are Hall of Fame UFC fighters, right? So the like what happens in the Octagon is very real to them. Like it's like this is something that, to either one of them, they're like, this is something I did like 30 times, where for me, I can still romanticize it to a level that a person who lived the reality, I don't think can. Like as an outside observer, like I'm talking as a fan, I can look at this with this like romanticized box around it. I've never had to sit in, I've never seen the ugly side of it, Like I know it's there. Like I know the ugly side of this stuff is there because I know business. I talk about it on the channel all the time. But when it comes to this stuff, like I can look like, I don't know if I'm doing a good job of explaining this, but like Luke Rockhold's performance last night was poetry, dude, because of how it ended. And I'll tell you exactly what I mean and why being there, you need to be there to understand. Okay. Look at Luke Rockhold's entire career. Okay. Or look at anyone's career in general. It's like, what do they want? Like, what are you really after when you take this life? Like when this is your life, this is a life that you choose. Okay. All the really, really great guys, like the top of the food chain UFC fighter. I'm not just talking about like guys who became champion. I'm talking like if they're even sniffed the realm of champion, all of them are after being the champion of the world, right? Whether it's for a day or whether it's for 10 straight years. At a certain point, you were the toughest fucking guy on planet Earth, and you got there through grit, hard work, perseverance. You overcame all kinds of obstacles, and they're chasing that dream, right? To get to that point right there. And so that's a noble pursuit. Like that's the most noble pursuit of all of this. But there's also more. Like there is more to it. Okay. You can chase the championships and not really care about anything else. But in the case of Luke Rockhold, right? Like he's been champion before. He's been the champion before. This is why, well, I'll get back to that in a second about why I think the retirement is perfect also. But obviously for Luke, like if he's going to compete, he wants to compete to become a champion. But throughout his entire career, this guy never had the fans on his side. Okay? And I know that doesn't seem like a big deal. Like I realize like that doesn't probably seem like that big of a deal, especially if you haven't gone to a lot of live events. Like my whole entire outlook on this sport has changed so much this last year because I've gone to like every single event. It's a different experience. And it's like as a viewer, you're watching on television. It's kind of like a show, you know? Like it's like a show. It's a show that I love more than anything, and you know it's real. But it's a show. The cheers that you hear are coming through your television, right? They're not coming from the people that you're standing right next to. Like the energy, you can't, I'm telling you can't feel the energy from the stadium when you are at home. And so when you really start to like understand that, when you go to a lot of events, you start to understand that every single time these guys fought their entire career, that's the environment they were in. They weren't experiencing it through fucking TV. They were there, right? They were there in the environment with all of the people. And the energy is such a huge part of it. Like if you listen to when Chandler came on my show, he was talking about the Gaethje fight, and he was saying that like when the crowd starts going crazy, it does something to you, you know. And he was like, I literally did not hear my corner. I just started I went blind basically, and I just went out and was fighting for my life, like not listening to any instructions because like the crowd just made me go crazy. And you just think about that, like the impact that the crowd has on a fighter, and you just really think about like that is an enormous part of the experience for any fighter. Now, fighters that intentionally play the heel and they try to get the boos, then sure, that's part of the experience also. They're intentionally trying to bait the crowd. They want to get the boos, you know, whatever, whether that's a strategy to sell fights or whatever you're doing, then that's all, you know, that's feedback from the crowd. But Luke was always a heel, and he wasn't doing it on purpose. You know, like Luke was not doing it on purpose. He was just, honestly, you want to know how I honestly have always read Luke Rockhold? I think he's shy, dude. I think by nature he's shy. I don't think that like he's not like most of the time when guys are kind of like, you know, come off kind of like standoffish and kind of pricky, if they've got it going on, you know, like if they're like a dude that fucking looks like Luke Rockhold and also is a world-class fighter, like if he's standoffish with people, that's not because he's like underneath necessarily a dick, probably. It's probably because he doesn't like feel super comfortable interacting with strangers, you know? And there's another fucking word for that. It's called being shy, you know? And I would imagine most professional fighters wouldn't like people referring to them as shy because that sounds like something you call it, some like little pussy ass dude. Luke ain't a fucking pussy. I'm not calling him a pussy. I'm just saying he's not like a guy who's very open with strangers, right? And so like, and to me this matters because the crowd was always so fucking hard on him. They booed him always, dude. He always got booed. He fucking always got booed. And again, he wasn't doing it intentionally. They just booed him. And I thought about this a lot. And like, you know, prior to this fight, I thought about this a lot when I watched, I think it was the documentary Bisping's My Destiny, which is fantastic, by the way. Yeah, I don't know. Like I like Bisping's current, like most recent one is amazing also, but My Destiny is also incredible. Both documentaries about Bisping are great. But I remember watching that and when you actually watch Rockhold, like how he tried to interact with Bisping, he really was pretty fucking respectful. Like he was trying to be respectful. It's just the way he comes off is like he seems like a dick. But if you actually just kind of stop paying attention to like kind of his mannerisms and listen to the things he's saying, you're like, he's talking about shaking your hand and like whatever. Like he's not a bad dude, man. Like he's not a bad guy. It's just he's good looking. He beats the shit out of people, and he's, you know, kind of comes off a little bit standoffish. Gabrielle, you guys know my wife. If you haven't ever seen my wife, she's a fucking smoke show, and I say that, you know, knowing full well you guys are going to end up on a live stream and you're going to see her, and I'm inviting someone to be like, I thought you said your wife's a smoke show. You know, like there's not a person with two eyes that would look at Gabrielle and say she's anything under a fucking hard 10. That just is what it is, and she's always been that way. And she talked like she was super shy when she was young, and girls would be fucking mean to her because they'd just be like, she's a bitch. Because she's so fucking hot. Like, just because you're good looking, what is that? That does nothing to do with your personality, dude. Like, literally has nothing to do with your personality. It's like, you could be really good looking and be shy, and then people just assume you're a fucking prick or a bitch or whatever because you're not talking to them, you know? I really think a lot of it had to do with that, like with Luke. And, you know, the point that I'm making here is a long ass fucking explanation. For my point is, he didn't try to get booed. He just did. He never had the crowd on his side. And last night, you know, he hasn't fought in 3.5 years. He comes in with a chip on his shoulder. He has that arrogant side of him was gone. You could see it in the press conferences. He was mad. You know, he's an emotional fucking guy, man. Like, you know, he's angry. He's gone through some shit. He's back. He's going to fucking do this, right? But he didn't have that sense of arrogance about him that he used to have. And when he came out, he got booed. He got booed again, you know? He got booed again. And like a couple minutes, I mean, I don't know what the hell happened. I said to, like, so he's gassed out in like 3 minutes, you know? He's gassed out almost instantly. And I know the altitude and all that, whatever. I said to Gabrielle when I was watching, I was like, I think Costa broke his rib or something. You know, for him to be huffing like that, you know, for him to be like that early, I was like, he's got to have broken his ribs or something, because it just doesn't even make sense for him to be gassed that fast. It's irrelevant though, because he was gassed that fast, and nonetheless, he fought through that full throttle for the full 15 minutes, and it did not take long for the crowd to recognize how fucking tired he was and how hard he was fighting. That he was fighting for his fucking life in there. He had a broken nose, I'm pretty sure, right at the beginning. I mean, I haven't rewatched the fight, but I mean, generally speaking, if a dude is bleeding out of his nose consistently for, you know, however long, that shit's broken, you know? They don't really just like stop bleeding on their own if they get broken, especially if you're continuing to fight. And a broken nose feels like, I don't know, like just, I mean, anybody who's ever gotten their nose cracked, did you feel like fighting after that? You know, like, is it like, oh, you take a shot straight to the nose? Or are you like, man, you know what I really feel like doing is continuing to fight right now? Or is it like, oh, okay, I think that's enough for now. Like, you know, there's like blunt impact that hurts, you know, blunt impact that hurts. And then there's getting punched in the nose. And you're like, oh, this is like the worst thing ever. My eyes are pouring water. My nose is bleeding everywhere. I don't want to fucking fight anymore. And if you've ever felt being completely fucking exhausted and still having someone on you, you know, or like having someone standing right in front of you and having to fight, like, he's got both those things going on, and the crowd recognized it, and his energy had no arrogance about it. He just fucking pulled whatever fucking grit soldier lives inside of that guy, samurai fucking warrior, came out, you know. Now, I heard some rumors about like how he trained for this fight. Might not have been the best, but that had, like, honestly, it doesn't even have anything to do with his performance, except that he was gassed earlier, because the crowd recognized how tired he was, recognized how hurt he was, and recognized how hard he was fighting, and the crowd was fucking fully behind him. Like, from the end of the end of the first round through the rest of the fight. Luke. Everyone was going fucking crazy for him, and he just kept coming, and it kept looking like he was going to get stopped, and he just didn't. And then he would come back and he'd hurt Costa, and he'd come back and he'd hurt Costa, and he would look like he couldn't take any more. Like, it's like, dude, this guy's a body shot away from just fucking crumbling for the entire goddamn fight. And he just kept coming, and he kept hurting Costa. I don't think that if someone gave him the decision that anyone would have thrown a fucking rock at it. I think maybe one of the reasons why he lost the decision so decisively is just because his body language was that he was so tired. Because he was putting it on Costa. Costa's got a granite chin too. It was incredible, dude. And by the end, I mean, dude, like, so in my other video, I showed you guys Serpent Forge. You guys look him up on Instagram. Sent me this ring. Dios de los Muertos. I never thought that I could roll a fucking ring this big, but this thing is so sick. I love it, dude. I can't wear it to work meetings, but I can fucking wear it everywhere else. I love it, man. It's also kind of like brass knuckles, but I'm not punching anyone anyway. So, but this ring, okay, is hard. And I was clapping it right here. And I literally injured myself. I was clapping so fucking hard for Luke, screaming for this motherfucker, dude. Like, I literally lost it. I lost my shit. I literally lost my shit watching that fight. And then at the end, the way it ended, dude, where he's on his back, he's getting worked over on his back. He has nothing left, dude. Okay. And everyone knows this feeling, right? How many amateur how many people, are fans of MMA that have never done any jiu-jitsu at all? Maybe I'm overestimating it, but for anyone who's ever done any jiu-jitsu, you know what that feels like to be on your back in a terrible position with someone who is strong as fuck smashing you down. Like, dude, you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to get a sweep right now. You're literally just looking at the clock. You're all, okay, or at least regular people. The fact that he was able to reverse that position with the minute left was, I can't fucking believe it, dude. Like, I couldn't fucking believe it. He had nothing left, dude. He had nothing left for 10 minutes. And he reversed that position, right? Gets on top, and then takes his face and fucking rubs his blood all over Costa's face. Fucking take it, dude. Take this fucking blood, man. And everyone, there are certain moments like, and again, like you had to have been there live, dude. Like you had to have been there live where like you feel like a fucking lightning bolt hits you in the heart in a fucking moment like that, dude. Like I always go back to the Gilbert Burns and Hamzat fight. And I told you guys my favorite part of that fight was in like the third round. They had just scrambled. They're both bloody, fucked up. And they were grappling, and then, fucking Gilbert spun out, stood up, and they fucking squared up, and Gilbert just smirked at him and winked his blood all over his face, and the place fucking lost their mind. This was like that, except even more so, because, like, that was insane. He fucking smashed blood all over. Like, he covered Costa's face with his own blood on purpose, like he was painting a fucking Jackson Pollock painting. And in the context, it was such a fucking gangster ass move, dude. After he just reversed that position, like, again, like I felt like a fucking lightning bolt hit me in the heart, dude. It was amazing. It was fucking amazing. And then at the end, right? At the end, they announced they announced that Costa won, and then Rockhold, after he takes off his gloves. He never had the crowd. He never intentionally had the crowd against him, and he finally fucking won the crowd. Like this place, dude, there wasn't a person there who was not screaming at the top of their lungs supporting him, dude. He got booed on the way in, and by the end, the entire fucking sold out arena was screaming for him, dude. Like inspired, fucking blood and guts. Everything that you love about this fucking sport. He finally won the crowd. He lost the fight, but he fucking won the crowd, dude. Like, do you understand? Like, he lost the fight, but he fucking won the crowd. Finally, dude. And again, and like I said, dude, I can fucking big league people at this point. Like, if people are like, oh yeah, I could say, bro, I've been to a lot of fucking fights, okay? Like, I've been to a lot of UFC fights. And when I say that, my point is, when I tell you this was a magic fucking moment there, I'm saying this from a lot of experience now, dude. Just this year, 270, 271, 272, 273, 274, UFC Austin, 277, 278, okay? I've gone to 8 fucking shows this year. It's August, okay? And I'm telling you, that shit right there was like, if you love the sport like I do, like if the sport hits you in the fucking heart, then that moment was like, it's perfect, dude. It's perfect. It's fucking poetry. He finally wins the crowd, and he takes off his gloves and he hangs them up, dude. And it was just like poetry. And here's the other thing, and the reason why I'm saying this, like, I saw like I know Chael did the video this morning where he said that he thinks that Luke should unretire. And again, from a promoter standpoint, I completely understand that, because yes, people definitely would want to see Luke fight again. But think about it from Luke's perspective. Luke's been a champion, right? Does Luke strike you as a guy who's interested in just like fighting? If he knows he's not going to be the champion, do you think he just wants to like fight? Like if he can't beat Costa, is he going to beat Vettori? Probably not. If he can't beat Costa, is he going to beat Izzy? Probably not. Pereira, maybe he could take, he's probably take Pereira down. But like, you know, if he's not in the hunt, why? You know, fights 2-3 more times. And again, maybe it's because I'm romanticizing it, like to like Bisping and Chael and these guys who fucking did, that was their act. That was I mean, my life has always been this exactly. Like I've loved this sport since I was I was Tyson since I was 6. I haven't missed a single UFC event since Tito and Shamrock won. Not one. Not fucking one. Not a single fucking event. I have not missed one pay-per-view event. Not one. Okay? That was 20 fucking years ago. 20 fucking years ago. Not one. And, you know, I'm on this side, romanticizing the fucking journey. On that side, to those guys, it's a lot more real. And so, like, I don't know, maybe it looks different to them. But to me, having been there, that shit was fucking magic, dude. Magic. But anyway, that's what I got. I love this fucking sport. Peace.